to the agents of the unexplained. Grab your gear and let's journey into the mysterious world of cryptids and the paranormal. Get ready for an adventure into the unknown. Listen carefully as you're guided through the unexplained and cryptid phenomena that challenge our understanding of reality. Here is your host, Bill Rigby.
Well, good evening, everybody. I got a special guest, and he really doesn't not need anything to tell who he is, because he is the one and only Grizzly Chris. Hi,
hello,
brother.
Everybody. Hello there, Mr. Rigby. How you doing? Welcome, everybody.
We're doing. It's been a crazy few weeks, but we're doing. Now, I'm going to explain something real quick. Grizzly, I met him a while ago. I finally got to meet him in person this past summer when I wasn't even supposed to be out running around. He was at Salt Fork. And the way he acts here is the way he acts in person. No lie. So he's an awesome guy. He really is.
What you get. That's right.
Yes. And Grizz. Hey, Bill, how you doing? Danny, Brian, all you guys out there, how you doing? Now, a lot of times when I start tuning into your show, because he does have the show Bigfoot Outlaw, you got a lot of psychics on.
Yes.
What got you into the psychics so much?
You wouldn't believe if I told you, right? So,
tell me anyhow.
I found out early age that I had some abilities, and when I got hurt in 2019 on the force, and it took me out of my career, and I got onto YouTube and TikTok, and I saw these people that claimed they had abilities, and I'm like, no, you don't. You don't have abilities. I'm like, shut the front door, right? So I was like, I'm going to go out here and I'm going to debunk all these people that claim that they are psychics, empaths, psychic mediums, that claim that they can talk to the afterlife and read all these tarot cards and everything else and pendulums. And so I went on a mission and I went to interview 30 different types of psychics. And it was amazing because the ones that I interviewed, or the ones that wanted to be interviewed, and the ones that did not, found out that I was in law enforcement and I was a captain detective, right? And when they found that out, they ran. They're like, no, I don't have time. And I know what kind of questions to ask. And with that, my daughters would tell you that I'm a human lie detector. So it's kind of hard to pull.
Your daughter did say that to me. It's all for it.
Yeah. And but when I went through the interview process with all these psychics, I saw a trend on how they grew up, their hardships, their relationships, their work relationships, their hardships through working throughout lives, their near-death experiences, their traumas, and a bunch of other stuff that I saw. And I saw this cycle and trend. And when I saw this, I was like, you know what?
Whoa.
Bill took me off stage. Bill called me.
No, I was actually writing and it took you off stage. Oh, I'm sorry, Greg.
That's all right. And when I noticed this trend, as I was taking notes on each of these individuals, and I did this across the world. I did it from the United States, Canada, Europe, England, France, Italy, China, Japan, and I went all out. Ireland, you named it. I went across the country to debunk these people. And each one of these people had to be interviewed a certain way, and they had to be tested. And I tested them through a scientific method test, and I used myself as the guinea pig. So, because my life at the time was very private, nobody knew about my life history, my medical history, and my childhood history, because I never made that public. So, as I went through there, I was like, their story needs to be told.
Right.
And then I wanted them to have their own shows, specific ones across the countries. And then people were like, hey, with you and your law enforcement, why don't you do a crime show on missing persons, cold cases, and so forth? Well, and that show was born. And then we had people from Australia that was joining the show, and other countries. And we were actually help solving cases, and we were submitting cases to the FBI. I can't name some of the other organizations, but that's how good these psychic mediums were. And some of these psychics were already working with law enforcement divisions on other code cases. And you have to understand, when these psychics work with law enforcement, you have to have a accuracy above par. And it's not something that I can go to Bill and say, Bill, I need you to help me work on this case, because a lot of psychics are not admissible in a court of law. And when you have psychics work on cases, if Bill come to me and say, Grizzly, I saw this in a premonition, you need to go to this area and find this out. Well, I cannot go to a judge and say, Judge, I need a search warrant for this property. He's going to ask me, where'd you get the information? Well, I got it from a psychic medium. It's not going to be written. It's not going to get approved. However, there are other circumstances we can get that information and take it and use a search dog in that area to get the hit off a decaying body, right? So there's other avenues we can use that information. So, and then we spun that off of to other shows to where people were getting messages.
Before you go any farther. So you used psychics when you was a captain?
We didn't. Our department didn't. We knew other departments that had.
Okay.
But not in admissible in a court of law, but especially on suspects, and also to find murder weapons or weapons that was used in a crime.
Yeah. All right. Because I was going to say, now that's, even these cop shows on TV, they slam the psychics.
Most of them do, because most of them are not credible. And like I said, you have to be credible, just like when you work in confidential informant, which everybody knows on the street is a snitch, right? They have to have so many buys and so much information to be credible before they can actually work for an agency. So that has to be thrown out there.
Okay.
Before they're credible in front of a court.
Yeah, because like I said, a lot of cop shows on TV. No. But the one show I used to watch religiously, it's been on for 14 seasons, going off the air this year. Blue Bloods. Danny, a psychic came to him, and he did the normal, you're just a psycho type thing.
Right.
Then he ended up believing her because the evidence kept coming from that. And saying that the girl talked to you. Yeah, right. Well, yeah, okay. Hey, Hannah, Barb, I'm sorry. But
well, just like BJ says, the psychics do have to be vetted, and there is a process. But once again, in a court of law, how can you tell a judge or a jury that a person has abilities that people do not understand, that see things or hear things that are already crossed over as in spirits, right? So even though that I tell you, Bill, that, hey, I passed away because my husband killed me 6 months ago, my body's near the train tracks, and you come to the PD and tell them that, okay, well, that's a tip, right?
Yeah.
But is it credible or not? So they take the canine dogs out there and go, look, if they find the body, that's just a tip. And you can't say a psychic said that. A person came in and told you, or a body could be located. So there's ways around things in any way you look at it. But that's how I got the psychics on the show, is I went out to debunk them. Instead, I went on a spiritual journey.
Yeah. that helped you too doing that.
It really did. It really did, because
Yeah.
it actually developed my abilities, and I met people that had them since birth or near-death experiences, trained me in how to understand what I was going through after I got hurt.
Right. I know. I was a young teenager, and I had a premonition, and I got up that morning for school, and that I asked my mom. I said, "Did Timmy get killed last night by a truck?" No, he did that evening.
Right? That is a premonition, right?
And that totally freaked me out. I'm a young teenager. I could
Right.
not sleep for 3 nights. For
Well,
three
that's
nights.
understandable.
And because I was afraid I was going to dream again. And somehow that is the only premonition I ever had. Because I blocked that. Because I didn't know what else to do. Because I didn't want no more of our friends or family members dying. So,
Right.
that was a weird, and that still kind of bothers me. And I've been working on opening up my third eye at an old age so I could see things again.
And yeah, and you can still do that. It's still
Yeah,
there. And a lot of people don't understand that.
right. And it's not an easy thing to do either because you got to clear that mind of yours.
That is correct.
And it's hard for me to clear my mind a lot of times, but I still do it. I need to say hi to a bunch of people. Ed Odell's out there. Kim from Florida's out there. Steve Blair, my brother from another mother. Of course, we got Val from Southwest Pennsylvania, and my favorite troll, and none other than Ryan Tremblay. Now, if you guys want to know about the Wendigo and stuff like that, Ryan's the one to talk to. He really is. That young man has researched this stuff. The Skinwalker, the Wendigo, a lot of the Indian lores and legends, and all that. He's right on there. So you need him on your show.
Oh,
Seriously,
absolutely. I love it.
yeah, you definitely. But anyhow, Tammy Trasher's out there too. Another one of my West Virginia friends. But anyhow, Ryan, I figure I say all that, you quit trolling me. But he's a good guy. But with that ability though, Grizz, have you come across some things you wish you never did?
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's things that I can look at people and tell you that they're not a good person. I can look at things and people and see things that they've done or did. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I know I've met some people who's like, no. No.
Right. Yeah,
And,
that's your mediumship. It's your psychic abilities. Yes.
yeah. And I do back off from those ones because I don't need that negativity and the bad mojo, as you can put it,
Right.
in my life. We deal with enough. We don't need none of that. BJ, you got a lot to say. But anyhow, we got another psychic friend out there, Nikki Walsh. But yeah, the thing is, with those abilities, I'm kind of scared of for myself. Do I really want to get that deep into seeing that stuff or not? It's a scary situation for me.
And I was on the fence for years with it. And the people that are on my Bigfoot Outlaw Network and the ones that are on their own channel now, they had to help and develop me. And let's see here. Linda, I did, especially with interview and interrogation. Absolutely. And they either told me either you embrace it or you ask God to take it away, which my mother did. My mother can tell you when somebody was going to pass or when somebody was going to die and a funeral was going to come, because she would smell funeral flowers. And,
wow.
And my mom prayed and prayed to God that she didn't want it anymore. It just horrified her, and God took it away. So yeah, and it scared me, Bill, because there were things I shouldn't know about people, and I did. And I'd be sitting in a room, and I'd be like, "Oh wow, this person's thinking this." And to toy with them, sometimes I would say what they were thinking in their head, and they'd be like, "I was just thinking that." Or they'll be talking,
I love that.
And finish their sentence, and they'll be like, "I was just going to say that too." So yeah.
I got to make sure I got a clean mind when I'm around you.
Hey, I'll be honest with you. That was the hardest things dealing with all the psychics on my platform, is because I had to always come on the channel before the shows with the good, clear, conscious, with nothing in my mind, because it'd be like, Grizzly, it's okay. It's going to get better just because you made a mistake. You can fix it. Then be like, so if you like that person, why don't you talk to him? I was like, stop it. Get out of my head. But we do it to each other, right? And you'll see me interact with people, the psychics on my show. I'd be like, okay, Peter, you can go ahead and tell them the rest of it. And Peter be like, Grizzly, stop it. So we actually toy with each other sometimes, but we do give each other personal readings, and it's really interesting because they're so accurate. And one of the things I'll tell people that's listening, if you know true psychics out there, and if you go and do psychic readings with people, you should always have the same reading. They should not be too far off.
Right.
For an example, we have psychics that do readings, maybe 2 or 3 psychics on one show. They'll give readings, and all 3 readings will be identical or 70 to 80% similar. And that tells you got real psychics, because they shouldn't be total opposites, polar opposites of each other. Right. Yeah.
That's the thing. You really can't be. And
well, I can tell you right now, Eric is sitting on the couch laughing and shaking his head. And for some reason, I can see Eric Thompson in Wisconsin doing that. I don't know why. I can hone in on Eric in the audience. And Eric, tell me if you're doing that right now. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But just let us know, Eric. I want to see it in the comments. He said, "Yeah, I told you I can see him doing that." Wow. I don't know why I can't.
Awesome. That's awesome. Hello, Mr. Russell Easterbrook. Yes, we are doing well. Yes, I do too. Now, there's a wealth of information.
Yes. Make sure and get his book, ladies and gentlemen.
Yep, definitely. And, the thing is, with the psychic abilities, that's why I want you out Bigfooting with me.
Oh, let me tell you something. I'm not going to tell you who I was out with. I told these guys when we were filming, I was like, I wouldn't move another foot. They're like, why? And they're like, do you see something in your night vision cameras? And I'm like, no, but whatever I'm feeling is around that bend and that hill is not wanting us to come. And they're like, well, what do you feel? I'm like, I think we need to back out.
Okay, was that true, or was you messing with them?
No, that was true. Hey, I get scared. I get scared in the woods sometimes. I do. You know how I shouldn't say this on the air, But you know
Yes,
how
you
they teach us Indian language, Native American language, like OCO and other stuff? Well, we were filming and they were talking to them. They're like, Grizzly, your turn. I was so scared. I went, ooh. And then I'll turn around like, Grizzly, what the hell was that? I was like, I can't think of nothing. I was like, grab my gear, I'm gonna run.
Oh, Jesus.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine Sasquatch be like, what the hell's that guy over there? He's a nut. What the hell's he doing?
He wants to do mind speak with you, and he's like, I don't want to mind speak this guy.
I had to cut that out. I didn't know what to do, though, ladies and gentlemen. I froze.
Hey, our sweetheart Barb Hartman has a question for you, Grizz.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
How do you know which psychic is right if you have two different readings?
So we have free will, right?
Yeah.
So most psychics, when you have readings, they'll be similar. So anytime in time when you have a reading, like when I do cards, it's that moment when I read the cards, it can always change because of your thoughts or your decisions that you make. That's why it can be different. That's why readings can change, but they're still going to be along the same path, whether it's along the jobs, marriage, birth, financial, and so forth. They'll still be the same, but the time frames may be a little different. That's all. That's just an example.
Ooh. All right. Whoa, Danny Buckner got a good question.
Okay.
Glad to see you out there, Danny. Grizz, have you spoken with a Squatch? Mind speak, he guesses.
Well, I'll say this. I don't know what I've heard. I don't know if it was, but when something tells me not to come or something tells me to stop, I'll listen. I don't know if it's them or something else, or if it's my spirit guides. Because usually if it's my spirit guides, it's a different voice, and we recognize that. So I never have experiences like people are like, no, I know it was Bigfoot because I saw Bigfoot and it told me this, or they said this. So I cannot confirm that. So I cannot really answer that actually.
Yeah, exactly. Like now, Bonnie Moore was at the Hotel Conant when I gave my talk about the paranormal Bigfoot. I saw my Bigfoot at 15 feet away, if you remember right, when I was on your show and talked about it.
Right.
I presume it was flesh and blood. Did it jump through a portal? Not that I saw. Did it go beam me up, Scotty? Not that I saw. It turned and went away from me. So, is it paranormal? I don't know. Just keep an open mind. But
and you have
not just that. You know, like you say, your spirit guide. I go with my gut.
Well, I use my gut a lot too, right?
Yeah.
And I have to, and I use that a lot in law enforcement.
Yeah.
However, you got to understand, I've got over 1,700 shows underneath my belt. So let's take that in account with how many interviews I have with Bigfoot and paranormal, right?
Yeah.
We're probably talking a little over 2,600 plus in the past since 2017. So, and we have encounters where people will see Bigfoot and fighting and trying to take down an elk a moose up in Canada. And when they win, it lifts up a veil and drags the moose under and drops it like a curtain, and they both disappear. And we're talking special forces with high rank that now has PTSD and has mental problems because of what he witnessed trying to hunt something to get food for the winter for his family. And these are stories and encounters that we hear across the world.
Yes.
So there's something going on out there. Yeah. Is it flesh and blood? Absolutely. Because I know and I hate to say this on the air, that people that have killed Sasquatch or Bigfoot have taken them down. So can they be killed? Yes, they do bleed, ladies and gentlemen. They have been shot, and they bleed, Bill. We both know they bleed.
Yeah.
But there is a phenomenon about them that we don't understand. We have more people coming out of the woodwork now saying, the debate is, what are orbs in the woods? We know orbs are energy. Energy cannot be created or destroyed, right? So we know that people say orbs are spirits. But now we're having a lot of people saying, Grizzly, I'm in a deer stand, and Barb knows, because Barb had him on his show, or on her show, that he was in a deer stand. He saw 2 orbs coming through the woods, and he heard crunch, 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 and he's watching these orbs free floating 6-7 foot off the ground. Then snap of a finger, 2 Sasquatches come out of each orb and start walking. We're hearing these stories and encounters all across the United States. So once again, the phenomenon is it possible? Yes, it is possible. These people are not making up these stories for no reason, Bill.
All right. Where you was camping at Salt Fork when I saw you.
Oh, my God. Thomas would have been deaf.
Yeah. Where you was camping at right there.
Right.
If you look across the road that ran down below camp,
Right.
on into the woods, to the left of that, we heard a tree knock, a loud one. But then if you go look more back over to about where you was camping at, looking out over into the woods, 3 orbs. And they went through trees, not around them.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah. So are they paranormal or interdimensional? I don't know. But, like I said, I presume mine was flesh and blood. But I could be 100% wrong. And I was at 15 feet away from the damn thing.
Right.
And that situation is scary. It being that close to one. But then
people don't realize how big they are. We know there's 13 dimensions, right? 13 dimensions. The U.S. government came out last year and says now there's up to 17, possibly 19 dimensions that they know of. And they have seen interdimensional beings and shadows within them. So what does that tell you?
Yeah, exactly. So, with that being said, and Eric, I agree with you with that. That special forces are not using the red night vision. They're not.
No, absolutely not.
And that's why I tell everybody, game cameras really don't work. You'll be lucky to catch one on there because the infrared eyes. So my suggestion to everyone, when you're using a damn game camera, put it about 20 feet in the air and tip it at a slight angle. It's not in direct eye view, and you're probably going to catch one that way. That's my philosophy on it. I can be 100% wrong too, but that I believe that could happen that way better.
Now, last year, Bill, I put out 47 trail cams in one area. And I realized when I was going through there, I put 4 to a tree in a grid in 6 acres. Okay. And there's 43,560 square feet in 1 acre. So do the math on the square footage. With that being said, when I was going through the footage, I was able to track herds of deer, turkeys, and everything going through there, just like a zigzag or a maze, right? Just like when you go shopping in a store. However, what I did notice that bugged me the most is that there were missing time frames within the grid.
Right.
Like something was going through there and turning off certain cameras on a tree to walk through there through the woods. And it took me about 45 days to figure that out, because I was like, okay, I can follow the deer in and follow the deer out. I can follow the turkeys walking through and out to the field. But what I started noticing is that if the camera on the north end of the tree and the east side of the tree was recording, and when something went around the tree, it wouldn't record. Why is that? But the cameras on the other side of the grid would pick it up, then the other side of the tree on the south side would not.
Yeah. Okay.
How could you explain it?
I can't. Denny Bigelow up from Strange Kinzoo for Kinzoo, Pennsylvania. He does a lot of research up there. Now, he has pictures from his game camera where you're looking at this tree, with the full color, and 1 second later, the tree's moved and it's a dark, like a almost black and white picture. How can you explain that?
Right.
Is that a portal, or is that Bigfoot distorting it? It's just, that's why it's Strange Kinzoo. A lot of strange stuff happens up there.
Yeah, a lot of people say that the Bigfoot emits a high electromagnetic field.
Right.
So, and that's why our electronics are distorted and they drain the batteries off cameras. Yeah, and then because I had a $1,000 GPS handheld unit when my daughter and I went out and put trail cameras out in the woods, and I would mark the trees on my GPS so I could go back and recover them. Because some of my trail cameras, you put on a tree and walk 20 yards, turn around, you cannot see them. That's how well camouflage they are. And some of them are so small now with the technology.
Right.
You put it on a tree, it looks like a knot. And we went back to get the trail cameras after 4 months, and the GPS was going haywire in one side of the woods and part of the grid. How can you explain that? But once again, we couldn't see anything. And then you got the cloaking effect, right?
Yep.
Like the predator effect that people are now starting to see in the past, since 2018, 2017?
Yep. But the thing, too, I got to put it up on screen. Linda Judge is right. I agree with her. We are waiting for frequency equipment to go on the market for all of us to use.
Yeah, absolutely. Danny's asking about, Danny, that is a great question. I actually want to get a Geiger counter because they use them for UFOs and aliens, right? So why not we test that theory with Sasquatch and Bigfoot? Now, Greg with Relic Films, he is trying to test the theory about infrasound with his mics because he's got some high-end mics. So he's trying to record stuff out there in the woods because he gets growls. He actually gets encounters with Bigfoot down at the LBL, Land Between the Lakes in Kentucky, Tennessee. And so he's trying to see if he can record the infrasound that people are getting hit with and see if he can actually get a frequency off of it. But once again, what frequency, if it's being submitted from the animal or creature, right?
Did I tell you about the infrasound I got nailed with?
No.
The problem there is the first time I got hit was like 1999, 2000. And I was bear hunting in Indiana County, Pennsylvania, up on Penview Mountain near Bear Cave, it's called. I was headed a little bit to go down over the hill, just a little bit, the mountain actually, because there's railroad tracks and river right down there. And if you take the tracks and follow it straight back a mile, you hit my place. But you had to drive 10 miles to get up the Bear Cave.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I'm up there and I start walking down over that hill. And next thing I know, I'm looking around like, where in the hell am I? I don't hear no trains, and trains ran there a lot. I don't hear the river. I'm looking totally confused, looking around, and I'm feeling a little weak, and I'm wondering what the hell is going on. Turn around. There's the hunter coming up, and I go, excuse me, I got turned around here. How do I get to Bear Cave Cabin? He says 3/4 of a mile back that way. I went this way. I don't know how I got there or anything. And I'm thinking I just got disoriented because I'm lightheaded the whole 9 yards. I walked back up, got in my vehicle, and went home. My ex-wife goes, "You're home early. What's going on?" I said, "I don't feel good." Well, 3 years ago, it's 3 years now. We're here in Mercer County. Me and Debbie Preggy was researching a farm where there was people that was hit.
Right.
And the farmer seen a Bigfoot cross in front of them. Well, we found prints there. No real tree structures or anything, but we have found prints. And we go back to one time, and Debbie had a little gifting thing set up, and we checked it. Things were moved and missing. We go on into the woods a little more up around. And next thing you know, I'm very weak, sick, real dizzy. I had to sit down, and Deb says, "What's wrong?" I says, "I don't know." And I explained it to her. She made a phone call, and he said, "Get him the hell out of there." I think he got hit with infrasound. We got out of there. I get in my vehicle, start feeling better. You're safe to drive. Yeah, I'll be all right. I drive home, wiped out, not feeling good. It took me a day to get over it. And all I wanted to do was lay around. It zapped me good. And
wow.
Yes, Eric, sound can be used as a weapon.
Right.
And so, yeah, I do believe they can use it. And that's the thing. They really can. Because I got nailed twice. I know it wasn't a bear that did me in when I was hunting, going down over that mountain. And with Debbie with us, I believe, it was trying to separate us. She's female.
Yeah,
I hope I'm right with that, because that gives me a good reason why I just got hit and not her.
Yeah, no, and you're absolutely right, because I've interviewed and talked to many people that have been out with 3 to 5 people, or even just 2 people, and one individual person's got hit and not the other, or one person's got hit in the group and not everybody in the group. So they do pinpoint it somehow.
Yeah, and that's interesting to try to find out. I got to give a special shout out. They're on my Facebook page, but they're not coming up on here. Dave, Blue Tracker, thank God you're home. I'm glad you're listening to the show, brother. He had open heart surgery.
Oh, wow. Godspeed.
Yeah. So glad you're home. And my buddy Dave Bruce is out there too, and he's been hit with infrasound. So he knows what I'm talking about. He's another paranormal researcher, Bigfoot researcher. But yeah, Dave's a Bigfoot researcher. Yeah, and I'm so glad he's home. That's what happened to him happened at the wrong time for us here, because my stepdaughter's dad just passed away from a heart attack.
Oh, I'm sorry to
and
hear that.
He got thrown into the hospital. So I was really worried about Blue Tracker. He's a hell of a good guy. But anyhow, with the infrasound, we got to learn more about it. I'd like to get some frequency equipment and work that because everything has a frequency, including a stone.
Right.
You know, so we can do that. You know, even Edison got a frequency.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sometimes it gives me a headache. But yeah.
Edison is Grizzly's girlfriend's son. He's a cute little devil too.
Yes, he is.
But I had to throw that in there because it's Edison.
Right.
But no, seriously. So, and yeah, Eric, I know it costs a big thousands of dollars.
Yeah, that
Nikki,
equipment's not cheap. Absolutely.
I wish I could post this one up, but I'll read it from my friend Nikki Walsh. I'd be curious to see how many men versus women get zapped. From what I've seen over the years, the women and children present seem to be left alone. Any thoughts on that?
You know, it's interesting because it seems like more men get zapped than women. And I don't know why that is. So that is something, you know what, that maybe we should try to keep track of as field investigators and researchers. Barb was hit about 6 weeks ago. Wow, I'm gonna have to ask Barb about that at her 9 o'clock show.
Yeah, yeah, Barb, you're coming back on my show so we can talk Bigfoot.
Yeah, yeah, she's got
she got so much going on at her property now, and I got to get her back on.
If I lived there, they probably burned my house down.
Dave Bruce says maybe we are more of a threat.
That's probably true because I know they do fancy women more, especially hair color and so forth.
Yeah,
and I mean, you look at, and another good question we looked at too, Bill, is look at Bigfoot and children with special needs. Look at how many kids have come forward and how many stories we're hearing about that lately in the past 3 to 5 years.
2 years ago, that kid in North Carolina.
Yes.
Said it was a big bear that kept him warm for 3 days.
Yeah, you know a bear didn't do that.
Yeah. We know that for a fact. Linda,
right.
Now that would be great because they do use frequencies now.
Well, they use frequencies in other countries to cure cancer, but we don't do it in America. Why is that? Money.
Money. Or they probably got the cure. You know, Big Pharma got the cure. I'll guarantee they got the cure.
Oh, yes, they do.
Look how quick they come up with the for the virus. Boom. You know, what is it? A month into it, and they got
right.
So that's just crazy.
Yeah, it is. It really is crazy, you know, and it's sad.
And that's the thing, you know. Does Bigfoot get diseases? I don't know. Yeah. Well, how come we haven't found a body? Well, the acid in the ground in Pennsylvania is very high. So,
well, I mean, you know, I get that question asked all the time, and we can talk about bear, you know, skeletons, deer skeletons, and animal. I mean, we can talk about that. But how many times have we found tracks and they just stop?
Yes,
and it's in the open.
You know, I use that in my paranormal Bigfoot discussion.
Yeah, I mean, how can we explain that? So they're going somewhere. So yeah. I don't know, Bill.
Yeah. Was it a portal they jumped through? Yeah, there's that.
Who knows?
Yeah. I've seen pictures of tracks that were 17, 18 inches long of a Bigfoot in the snow fresh snow. It snowed that the day before and that evening. The next morning, the tracks was there. Someone said, "Oh, that was a coyote that double stepped, or it was a bear."
A coyote?
Hell?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
When they said coyote, I said, "Get the hell out of here." I did.
No.
Come on.
A coyote can't maybe like
yeah.
that. If it's a big, good sized one, come on.
But the thing is, it was going through their backyard, and then it stopped. There was no trees, no nothing. So,
yeah,
and that's why I say you got to keep an open mind. Yeah, I want to say they're totally flesh and blood. They don't do that, but I can't.
Well,
and and I do everything in my power to debunk whatever it is with it. I'd rather debunk it and say, no, this was natural, or this was animal done it, or but there's a lot of stuff we can't debunk.
No, and I agree with you, Bill. And I was the one 5-7 years ago. I would always draw a line in the sand. And when I talked to Ron Moorhead, because Ron Moorhead is a friend, and he's also an admin in one of my Facebook groups. And every time I would draw a line in the sand, I would have to erase it and move it forward. And like Ron said, you have to think outside the box with quantum mechanics and everything. And I always say this to people on our shows: before electricity, right? Nobody knew where electricity was. So when people touched the electric eel, what did it do? It knocked the hell out of them, right? Yeah. Ooh, bad, do evil. They didn't know what it was because they didn't have science to explain it. So they thought it was the devil or Satan or whatever bad mojo. But now, since we have science and everything, we can explain what it is. And now we can explain what that eel, the electric eel now, what it was doing to protect itself. So same thing with Bigfoot or Sasquatch. We just don't understand. If there's these 13 up to 19 different dimensions, it's like going from the kitchen to the living room to the dining room. We just cannot see in that frequency or in that other dimension where they can just walk in and out of and walk around us, and we not even see them.
Yep. 110% right. Yeah. And the thing is too with that is that I believe they can go interdimensional, but they're still flesh and blood.
I do. Yeah.
You were saying earlier. Brian.
I know. That's why I was laughing at.
I just saw that. I agree, Brian. And my ex-father-in-law, God rest his soul, says the same thing. Because he came out of his house, went walking around the corner. A skunk was there and nailed him. He ran clean around the front, clean down around the other side, started coming around the other side, and got nailed the second time.
Oh, my
God. My ex says, "Oh, we hated riding with him." He had the window down because it was hot, and blew in the back seat.
Well, there's a difference smelling a skunk and smelling somebody that got sprayed by a skunk. That's totally different, ladies and gentlemen. Yep. Totally different.
And how do you know that?
Because I've been around somebody that's got sprayed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, not me. I about died. But so when people tell us their encounters and stuff, I keep an open mind. And we had a discussion that time that you wasn't able to stay. Everybody around the campfire. What do you do when people tell us stories and their encounters? Well, we had the people that are hoaxers, right? That want to become famous. They just want their 15 minutes of fame on our shows and YouTube. And then we had the people that have mental problems that think they see things and they want to see things, but they're not because of mental problems up here. Because mental health is a big issue in this world. And then you got the third classification of people that unfortunately that everything that goes snap, twig, and break in the woods is Bigfoot. And it's not the case, ladies and gentlemen. You know, every time I go out in the woods, I don't encounter Bigfoot. And how can, you know, little Johnny, every time he goes out in the woods, gets pictures of Sasquatches or Bigfoot tracks or dung? I'm just saying. I'm just saying, Bill, don't get me laughing, Bill. I'm just saying. You know, they come back with 5 pictures and they got 15 Sasquatches. I'm like, what the hell? Shut the front door.
No, the red circles.
You said it, not me. You said it, not me.
Scroll. Get the hell out of here.
You know what? So I was out with somebody and I'm like, you take a picture and I'll take a picture. And they're like, well, you got a camera and I got a phone. I'm like, yeah, this is a $4,000 camera. Let's take a picture of the same area. Well, he found 4 Bigfoots. And I'm like, now look at my picture. He goes, well, there ain't no Bigfoot. So I'm like, high-end camera, cell phone. You're not going to see blob squatches or pixelation. That's why, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm just saying. You know, I mean, don't get me wrong. Bill, stop it. You're gonna make my stomach hurt. But
I'm trying to keep my mouth shut.
I want to believe. Don't get me wrong, because I'm a believer.
But when they got to start red circling this picture with 10 different Bigfoots on it, you're an idiot. That is paranoia.
That's right.
Dave Bruce. See the eyes? See the nose?
Somebody sent me a picture and they're like, what do you see, Grizzly? I'm like, tree bark.
I really ticked a couple people off.
I mean, don't get me wrong.
Come on.
Don't get me wrong. I want to believe. And you know, and I want to trust everybody's picture. And the mind picks out images and faces in pictures. It's proven scientifically. It's the human mind. It's how it works. Now, with that being said, there have been some good photographs that people have taken that's really stumped me and said, dang, you got something on that.
Yeah.
You do have something on that.
A friend of mine, and I still brag about him, he goes to what he calls the monkey farm. It's his research area. He got some really bad pictures, but he puts them out there before he puts out the ones you can really tell, yes, that is. You know, because he says, no matter what they say, it's something else, or they say, I'm seeing things. I went,
right.
Yeah, but.
And
I'm going through these pictures. I'm saying, holy shit. Holy shit. I said, you should red circle these. He just looked at me.
Well, when we were filming down in New Orleans, Mary wanted to learn how to use a couple of my cameras. And I'm like, I'll show you. And she was trying to take pictures, still pictures. Every still picture she took came out blurry. I took the camera and I was just going snap, 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 snap. And every picture I took out came out perfect. She's like, she said, how did you do that? I'm like, because I've been doing this for many years. I know how my camera works. And it's like, you're not a photographer. Now we were at a park taking pictures, right? And I caught this swinging on itself. And she's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm chasing a squirrel, trying to get pictures of a squirrel. Have you ever done that?
Oh, hell no.
It's hard.
It's very hard. Even the one sitting out in this maple tree behind my place. I said, I bet you won't sit still long enough to get a picture of that agitating SOB.
It doesn't. Then people want to know why. Well, if you saw Bigfoot, why didn't you get a picture? Let me tell you something. You see something that's not supposed to exist, that's 8 to 12 foot tall, 600 to 800 pounds. That's got a foot, between 16 to 23 inches in length, 8 to 10 inches in width. And you're sitting there, and the first thing you're going to think about is, hey, can you say cheese?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So my sighting at 15 feet. This young guy says, "Did you get a picture?" I says, "I sure in hell wasn't thinking about pulling my phone out of my back pocket." Well, I would have had it out. I went, "Yeah, okay." I would have got pictures instead of running. Yeah, okay.
Now, look at Barb's comment. You guys had to realize that there are people in the world that are gifted in sight. If you believe in psychics, why not you believe in that? I'm not saying I don't believe in that. I'm saying that there are people that want to believe that every time they take a picture that there's something there when it's not. And I have seen a lot of good photographs where people have captured something. Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm not discounting that at all. Maybe I didn't say that right.
I don't discount that either. But
no,
what I do discount is when they got a red circle everything.
Right. Hey, Grizz, not cheese, Slim Jim.
Slim Jim. Oh, geez. Danny, what are we going to do with you?
Yeah, I want some jerky now.
Yeah. Of course. But, when they got a red circle, 10 different things. Barb, I've seen your pictures. You did not have to red circle them. And I can still pick out what you was taking a picture of. But a lot of these red circle photos are pareidolia. Some of them might not be. Paranormal Fellowship wants to know who's behind you, Grizz.
It's my green screen is what it is. That's why it's glitching. So.
Yeah, he's hiding from us.
But no, and that's what I'm saying. It's just some people take it a little too far, and they want to believe, and I want to believe them too. Don't get me wrong, but yeah. I'm never going to call them out on a show, or I'm never going to call them out on public social media at all. No,
I just scroll by.
You and I, and we and Barb and I are the same way. We don't react. If you don't agree, just scroll on. Absolutely.
Yeah, and you got to, because you're not going to change their mind. They know what they're seeing. They know what they're seeing.
Right. No, absolutely. Absolutely.
If there's no red circles in it, it looks like pareidolia. I ask, can they send me the picture so I can work on my computer with it and blow it up, see what I come up with? And they allow me, I'll share it back with them.
Oh yeah, absolutely. When I take my photographs and stuff, when in doubt, I throw it out. Most of the time, that's my rule of thumb. However, when I do capture stuff, I'll bounce it off people, and I won't say anything. I'm like, "Do you see anything?" Or take a look at this picture and give me some feedback. And I'll just leave it like it is, and I'll just let them tell me what they see.
Yeah. And that's the thing, I don't discount all of that. Once in a while, if there's one red circle, I will stop and I will study it.
Oh, yeah.
See what I can see. But when you got 10 of them on a page, and it's nothing there, really, even though they believe it is. I don't know. But Barb made a good point, too.
No, she did. And like I said, maybe I didn't explain myself right or say it right. And I'm glad she made that comment. I appreciate that.
But Russell says, Mary Green said they buried Fox the hole and was ready on her last visit.
Really? See, that's the thing that we don't know about, right? It's not like we sit down with one and say, tell us how you work, tell us what you do, tell us how you interfere with humans' abilities and mind. We have no idea. The only thing we're basing our information off of is people encounters that we interview and stories that we've been told by secondhand that we know that through the grapevine. That's the only thing we're basing everything off of.
And I learned a lot doing my podcast.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's the main reason I did the podcast, so people can share their stories and experiences, and I can learn from them. I can learn different techniques on my research. learn more about the Bigfoot or the paranormal, you know, even about UFOs. So that's why I do my podcast. I learned a hell of a lot from it. And I know you have from yours.
Oh, absolutely. There's not a podcast that doesn't go by, whether it's Barb's, whether it's Mike Scott, whether it's Russell Easterbrook's books, or whether it's
Yeah.
Brian Barber, whether it's people in the chat that come on the show or talk about their experiences, because each experience is right. It's not an individual experiences by itself, because we actually hear that over and over down the road, a week later, a month later, another show, another podcast, your podcast, my podcast.
Right.
We hear it just across the country and across the world. So there is some validity to it, that what's going on, and some truth. And that's where you say, Bill, and this is where I appreciate your perspective. Hey, Trina, is you got to keep an open mind. And people tell you what they believe happened. Listen to them. Don't shut them out. Don't make fun of them. Because when you do that and people see that they're being shunned, they're being belittled, their family disowning them, people in the community are making fun of them, the people that actually do have encounters or issues, they're like, oh, no, I'm not coming forward. I see what happened to little Johnny. I'm not telling my story. Nope, I'll take it to my grave.
Exactly. And that's the thing. You know, a lot of people are scared because they got belittled.
Right.
And a couple of people that were supposedly friends start belittling me about my sighting. And I just looked at them and said, have I ever lied to you before? No. Then why would I lie now? I says, you need to back up on this. And they go, okay, why? Because if you don't believe, that's fine. I don't care. I'm not going to try to convince you, but don't try to convince me that I'm making shit up, because I'm not. You know, and that set everything off right there. And two of them don't speak to me no more. Two of them don't speak to me no more, and I don't care. And I do got to say this, Trina, this is to you.
Dr. Pepper.
Yeah, she's a pepper girl too.
Oh, let me turn my label around for the camera. We're not getting paid for this, ladies and gentlemen.
What the hell you got that on my show for? This is a Dr. Pepper show. Whoa, hey, Grizzly. Grizzly. Oh, this is what it's all about, Grizz.
Oh Lord, he just did the smack down there. Oh, I forgot you're in control of the buttons, not me for a change. So,
Eric, you're right. Okay, I'm going to go along with that. Yeah, but when they got 10 red circles up, I got a problem with that. Let the other people pull it out, you know, and say, well, I see this. And I did that to one red circle. I go, do you see the little one behind that other tree to the right? And everyone started looking, yeah, we see it. We see it. So, yeah, having 10 red circles, it just makes me want to scroll on. Yeah. But I did see on one, had a couple red circles, but they didn't circle the entity that was off to the right even more. So I messaged them. I didn't even say it on the post. I messaged them. And they start looking at it and they went, oh my God, you're right. You know, right. So, you know, you gotta be careful.
Yeah, the only thing I'll say on that, and you know, I'm not trying to poke anybody's bear or anything, is that in the Bigfoot world, you want to have a good image, right? because once you tarnish yourself, you can't come back from it.
Yeah.
So, and when you want to present evidence, you want to make sure it's the best evidence you want to present, and you want to have stuff to back it up with. And, if you have tree structures, why do you think it Bigfoot related? And like I tell people, it's because I heard tree knocks, I've heard howls, I've got tracks. There's other indicators that indicate there's some probably Bigfoot in that area. So you're setting the stage, right? Because now when you start to tell me all this, and you've been researching that area for a while or for a few years, now you're finding tree structures. Wow, that probably is Bigfoot related. Now you see what I'm saying?
I debunk so many tree structures, okay? But the ones that, especially the X's, you see them everywhere. And I'm going to say 95% of them are natural. From a tree falling against this one, it makes it look like an X. You can see where it broke off the other one. But the ones that really totally just blows my mind are the ones with the root ball 20 to 30 feet in the air, and there's no hole where it was ripped out of.
Right.
Like, where in the hell did this come from?
Right.
And so the TP structures depends on how they look.
Right.
And especially around a pine tree that's 50 feet in the air. You got all those dead bottom branches laying down, making a TP structure. Did Bigfoot do it? I don't think so. The Y sticks pushed in the ground. I found one at the group camp area at Salt Fork when it was closed off to everyone because of hunting season. We went in there at night and I tripped over it.
Oh, wow.
I shined the spotlight up in the trees to see if it came from there, and it didn't. So I'm not sure why they do it. That's part of the thing I want to find out. You've seen several of them today. That's cool. Hey, Griff, a man. He finally made it. But, the thing is, we got to be diligent on the research of structures.
Right.
Take care, Linda. Thanks for stopping in.
Bye, Linda. Well, I'll say this on structures, and I'm telling a lot of people to do this. Take a roll of Scotch tape out or shipping tape and hit the tree structures. Right? Because where are you pulling off of? Potential hair.
Yep.
Just saying. Try it. Absolutely.
Got this.
See?
Yep. I know friends that go 8-10 feet in the air, 7, 8, 10, with strings hanging down with tape on it to get hair if they walk under it. You're going to tape it up like... Oh, shut up, Bill. Here we go. So I brought out the little roll. You had to bring out the big gun.
Absolutely.
But speaking of that Y structure, I tripped over. Grizz is going to be at the camp out John Stasko and I is putting on. It's going to be the end of June, but probably the last weekend in June, I'm pretty sure. If we get to reserve it. Yes, Brian, we're missing the gorilla tape. But Grizz is going to be filming it, the research, and he'll ask you all, if you come to our camp out, he'll ask you if it's all right you get on camera. Because we're doing the research. And that's what he's filming for, the research. if we come up with anything. But the thing is, it's going to be the last weekend in June. I heard they're raising the rates there at Salt Fork at the group camp to $10 a night. I don't know for sure. I'll know when I reserve the spot in January. You bring your own equipment, bring your own camping stuff and food. And if we're able to, we'll have Grizz cook us up a big meal.
Absolutely.
But no, seriously, it's just $10 a night per person. $5 to $10. Let me put it that way. And you're welcome to come. And there'll be day and night researching. And John kind of already told me I'm going to be working the home base area. People will be out with experienced researchers. He glamps.
I do. I ain't gonna
lie. I need to glamp. I'm getting old, but getting up off that ground at night's killing me.
Right.
But anyhow, yeah, people are welcome to come. I'll be posting it on my Agents of the Unexplained group page. Grizz will be posting it too, because I'll send him the things on it, and we'll go from there. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be exciting because we're always finding some kind of activity there. Always.
Always.
And folks, that's where I have my sighting. The Buckeye Trail is right there.
Yeah, sure is.
And yeah, Scott Carpenter did, Russell. Scott Carpenter studied tree structures in his book. And and it's right down the Buckeye Trail. I'll take people to my sighting where it was at if no more trees fell down. But yeah, very interesting spot too, because it wasn't that far out of camp. Joey, you're welcome to come. We'll have the details put up in January. I'm sorry, Bonnie. She said, if I'm getting old, she got to be ancient. She's 86. She got me by 21 years.
Oh,
and
wow.
You wouldn't know it. You wouldn't know it. No, she's like a spring chicken. But anyhow, Grizz, you got anything else upcoming that's very important?
No, sure don't. Got a show coming up at 9:00 p.m. Eastern time. Make sure and tune in for that. We got Barb, Scott, and Tom on there. We're going to be doing a lot of stuff coming up this year. More traveling and filming, so it'll be interesting.
Yeah. If you guys have never seen his show, I don't know what's wrong with you.
Pick one.
Yeah. Yeah. You do have a really good show. And
I appreciate it. So do you.
I try. One of these days I'll get as good as you.
Whatever. You're good enough.
But the thing is, I walked into the barber shop today. I actually got a haircut.
Oh, you play Cowboys and Indians and you lost.
Yeah. They scalped me, and I'm glad they did.
Right.
I walked in. I got to sit down in Ralph's chair. The old man that has the barber shop. His grandson is a barber there. He's one of those fancy ones that does all the fancy haircuts on these young guys. I want a regular haircut. Thank you. But as soon as I sit down in Ralph's chair, his grandson, Chad, goes, "Hey, you're famous. You're a Bigfoot researcher." I'm like, what? Yeah, we saw you on Channel 5 News. I don't remember doing the interview.
Wow.
The other kid that's doing the cutting on the chair straight across from me goes, "Yeah, I heard your voice," and I come looking around the corner and say, "I know him. He comes to the shop." I'm like,
Wow.
"Okay." He says, "You are famous." And then the kid that was sitting in, the guy across the way from me, he goes, "I'm starting to believe in Bigfoot." I went, "Okay, that's cool." And he goes, "Do you know Tina Sams?" I went, "The Energizer Bunny." "Yeah, I know her."
Uh-huh.
He said, "She's like my second mom. Me and her son AJ's the best of friends." Small world.
Small world.
So yeah, it was just crazy. Yeah, and sat there the whole time getting my hair cut, talking about Bigfoot.
That's crazy.
That was awesome though. Dave Bruce says, "Grizzly Chris, please friend me, please." Dave
Okay,
Bruce,
well, Dave.
yeah, he's a good researcher and that a good friend. He does a podcast, but he's put it off, shut it down till the first year till he gets a lot of health things straightened out.
Okay.
Good guy, really good guy. But Mr. Bill Heasley, good to see you out there watching. Yes, Griff, he is coming to Penn, Ohio. He's going to be doing a podcast from there. He's going to be interviewing a lot of people probably. And I'm going to walk up and rub his head and say, "I wish I had a watermelon."
And guess what? One will probably appear now.
Come on. I wasn't expecting that one. I was expecting another smart answer. Hey, Johnny, how are you? Yeah, so yeah, he will be there. And I'm excited about that. He had messaged me last week or the week before and said, "What was that date again? I got to write it down."
I had to write it down. All my dates are coming up so quick, you know.
Yes. And Marionville, the Forest County Bigfoot Festival. I got nailed. I got the email that I got to send them money. I'm just going vendor there this year. But which me and the head guy, Dave, we talked several times, and I says, "I'm coming one way or the other. Either the vendors speak. It doesn't matter to me. I will be there."
Right.
So I already reserved the motel. He started laughing at me. That's a big event. I really enjoyed being there last year, even though I was sick.
Right.
And Griff came and helped me out. Thank God,
Nice.
him and his wife. They did, because I was sick. And it was right after that's when I went to the hospital. But anyhow, folks, I'm going to cut this off so Grisco gets set up for his other show.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks, everybody, tuning in.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. I hope to see you all soon. If you didn't already subscribe to my YouTube channel, please do. And go ahead and come to the Agents of the Unexplained group page. Oh, all right, BJ. We'll see you there. But my group page, you got to join that. That's a private group. We have 1,600 people in there. And right now, we're doing a fundraiser for the Penn, Ohio Paranormal Conference 3. I'm going to put the link up on my page if she sends me the link to do it, because she put it on the page for people to like and join. It runs today through Sunday. We've got a bunch of products being put on. And yes, it's It's Just a Bear is on there. You didn't hear about that one, have you, Chris?
No.
I had shirts and cups made up and decals.
Oh yeah, I heard about that. It's
with
just
the
a bear.
Bigfoot walking, and it says
Right.
it's just a bear. And because I got tired of people, sure it wasn't just a bear.
You're right.
Yes.
And that's great.
So thank you everyone for tuning in. Join my page, watch his YouTube, and subscribe to it. You'll be surprised what goes on his. And I'm being serious. But so take care, everybody. Have a great rest of the week and enjoy the weekend that's coming up. And remember, Veterans Day is coming up. Salute the veterans.
Thank you for tuning in to the Agents of the Unexplained. Please visit our website at agentsoftheunexplained.net for unique paranormal merchandise like t-shirts, books, and coffee mugs. Join our Facebook group and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more thrilling content. Until next time, keep questioning the unexplainable.